Hi. Well, it's another beautiful day, and today I want to talk about the illusion. Now, what is the illusion? Well, it's the illusion of your thoughts. Because you think you're thinking your thoughts, but you're not. Your fake identity, the ego, the entity, is doing the thinking. And that is the first thing you have to realize in order to awaken. I don't want to say that anyone needs to do anything, but generally speaking, that's what you need to do. An awakening is really about being with God. Once you awaken, you will be in God's presence. And you will feel His love. You will feel His peace, His joy. Anyway, so that's what the whole point of awakening is. And so that means we have to get rid of the illusion. And this illusion means that we are not in control of our own mind. So, surrender the thinking. This thinking isn't you. You're not doing any thinking. The thinking is being done for you by the ego, by the entity that is your ego. The fact is, we don't know what it is. I mean, we have no idea what it is. But we know that it is doing the thinking. Because you wouldn't say bad things about you, would you? No, but your ego would. Because it's a fake identity. And as long as you are sucked into that fake identity, as long as you are part of it, which you are, you think you're doing the thinking, and you think what you're thinking is right, don't you? Well, it's wrong, okay? Because you are not the one doing the thinking. Now, you can say, hey, I'm doing my thinking because I know, because I think it. That's not what happens. What happens is you are a soul. And that soul is hearing the thinking. That soul is hearing it. It's being thought at that soul. And so you think that you're the one originating the thought. You're the one having the ideas. You're the one condemning yourself. But it's not you. That's the illusion. And in order to get beyond this illusion, we must recognize that we are not the one in charge. We're not making the decisions. Decisions are being made for us. And you can tell that that's true because you can look at all the people who are doing the same thing over and over and over again. Look, I love everybody. So I'm not trying to criticize people. But that's what they're doing because they are not doing the thinking. They are not making decisions. The decisions are being made for them. And the ego wants you to fail. Because if you fail, then it feels bigger. It wants you to be great, too. But if you can't be great, then you've got to fail. To make the ego feel bigger. That's the whole game. I know it's hard to realize that you're not the one that's doing the thinking. I get that, okay? That's the biggest stumbling block for any kind of spiritual growth. But that is the way it is. And as long as you believe that you're right in your thinking, which you're not right, Okay? Because you think you're doing the thinking. And I can tell you, believe me, when I was in that position, I thought I was doing the thinking. I thought I was so smart. I thought I was right. But I wasn't. I was wrong. Thinking is a great thing. It's a wonderful thing that you can do. Absolutely. But most of the time, you're not doing it. Okay? And those thoughts are not coming from you. Because you are a soul. And you are being thought at. Which is not pleasant. I've had plenty of people in my life be critical of me, and they said so. But the most critical person of all of me was me. Okay? By far. And you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, that's probably true with me too. And that critic is your ego. That critic is the fake identity, the entity that exists in your brain. And there's no way that you can know that unless you realize for yourself, not for anyone else, that that is happening. If you can just recognize and realize that you are not doing the thinking, then you will begin to awaken. And as you do that, you'll see what you're holding on to. You'll see what you're grasping. And that grasping is not good for you because it creates suffering. If you love things like cars or houses or things like that, and you put all your energy into redoing a car or remaking a house or whatever you put your energy into, okay? That's only going to lead to suffering because it's coming from the ego. I mean, I love cars too, and houses, both, and a lot of other things. Boats. I love boats. But I can't put my energy into those things because it's not coming from me. That love. That love is not coming from me. That love is coming from the society. The society loves boats. The society loves cars. The society loves houses. Okay? Or mansions. They love those especially. Okay? That society is part of my ego. Or my ego is part of that society. And whatever the society says, my ego reflects that stuff. Okay? So, loving things, okay, which is fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But it's part of the illusion. Because things don't matter. What matters is being with God. That's what matters. Everything else doesn't matter. You can argue with me and say, oh no, there's things that matter, like the children who were dying of starvation. Well, yeah, they do matter, but you know what? Nobody's doing anything about them, so maybe they don't. Anyway, the point is that this illusion has you, and you are totally bought into it. Okay? You think you're thinking your thoughts, and you think your thoughts are right. Right? Because your mom and dad told you that their thoughts were right. Didn't they? Yeah, they did. And so you think your thoughts are right. That's the way it is. But they're not. They're just not. And these thoughts are ruining your life. They are creating suffering. Okay? Misery. Are you miserable? Do you feel any misery? Yes, of course you do, because everyone does. And it's coming from the thinking. So all you have to do is to accept what is. To be free of it. That's it. And what is that you are not doing the thinking. If you accept that, if you really accept that and embrace it, you're going to feel better. Right away. Okay? Have you ever taken medicine and felt better right away? And you were like, wow, this stuff's powerful. Right? Well, That's the way piercing the illusion is. It's very powerful. And if you just simply accept what is, then you will see or feel God. I saw the light of God. Light beams came through my roof, into my house, into me. That was the light of God. Now, I don't know what you'll see or feel or whatever when you awaken, but that's what I felt. That's what I saw. Okay? Maybe I didn't see it all. Maybe it was all inside my brain and my eyes weren't involved at all. There's no way of knowing. But the way to have that experience, the way to get to where I am, which is a great place because I'm not worried about anything. I don't have any worries and I don't have any fears. Because I know God. And you don't have any worries and you don't have any fears when you know God. That's what it is. So, believing in God and having faith in God is all great. But knowing Him is so much better. And I want you all to experience that. These are the best things in life, is experiencing God. There's nothing better. Have you ever fallen in love? Well, if you did, it was because God was there. Because the only love there is God's love. When you met that special someone and you fell in love, God's love was flowing through your soul. Okay? And all you have to do, okay, in order to awaken is to accept that you are not the one doing the thinking. Or surrender your thinking. Just surrender it. Okay? It's the same thing, but that's a better way of saying it. So surrender your thinking and let it go. You don't need it. Yes, it's true if you want to get to some place at some time and do this and that and the other, you need some thinking. But that's a tool. Thinking is a tool. It's not everything. And if you make it everything, you are going to suffer. I don't like it when anyone is suffering. Certainly not anyone I know. But it happens because ego creates it. Well, the ego thinks the thoughts that create it. But anyway, look, this is all about what is important to you. Is it important to you to be free? Is it important to you to have God? Okay? When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you feel? Is it the bed sheets or the bed or the gravity or what? For me, it's God. There's no physical touching of God. There's no shaking his hand. He is in the formless dimension. He is formless. But you can feel him. You can know him. You can feel his joy, his love, his wisdom, his creativity. It all comes through. His peace. That's all it is. That's all awakening is being able to feel that. There's a lot of other things you can feel too, like everybody's suffering, which isn't terrible, believe me. It's just you can feel it. It's like almost like a sound, but not a bad sound. But you can feel it, okay? And you can feel God. You can feel what there is to feel, which is God. So, try to understand who you are. You are not a person. You're a soul who doesn't think. You don't think because you don't need to. What you do is be with God. That's what the soul does. The soul is always with God because God is always there taking care of it. Plenty of people have talked about how somebody's blackened their soul. Well, no soul can be blackened because God's there to keep it pure. Okay? And if you want that, if you want to have God right here with you, okay, in some sense, then you have to accept what is. And what is you're not the one in control. You are being led by society, by the ego, by the entity within you. And that doesn't make you happy. That makes you unhappy. And I don't want anyone to be unhappy, but unless you can recognize this thing, okay? Unless you can pierce the illusion and see what is real, you aren't going to be free. You aren't going to end your suffering. One of the things I did when I woke up was end my suffering. I don't suffer anymore because I am awakened and because I'm not afraid. I'm not worried. Nothing can bother me because I'm okay with whatever happens. And unfortunately, 99% of the people aren't okay with whatever happens. And when things don't go their way, they get outraged and upset. And they have an emotional reaction. Okay? And that causes more suffering. It's suffering laid on top of suffering. Okay? But there's a way out. Just accept what's true. And the only thing that's true is that you are not a person. That person was wound around you by everyone. But it's not you. You're the soul within. The soul that God made out of himself. Now, maybe you don't think I know what I'm talking about. That's okay. But you know what? I think sometimes when I say things, they mean something to you. Because your soul knows what I'm talking about. And it gives you a feeling. So, whether you think I'm right or wrong about what I'm saying, it doesn't really matter. Your soul knows what is. Okay? And all you have to do is accept that isness. Just accept what it is that is. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. Kind of chilly, but still good. I love you all because you're me. You're a part of me and I'm a part of you. We are all part of the universe, the universal consciousness. Okay? We're all part of that. Our souls are all connected. Okay? You've heard the 6 degrees of separation. Well, this is what it is. Okay? Our souls are all connected because they're all connected to God. And that is what God is. The source of all the connections. So therefore, we are one. We are not the many. We are the one. If we continue to believe that we are the many, then we will suffer. And that's just the way it is. Nobody wants anyone to suffer here. I don't want to have any suffering. I don't want to see any suffering of other people. But you know what? Unless we can accept what truly, truly is, that is what is going to be. All right, well, I guess that's enough time on this issue. I love you all because I've already said why, because you're me. Take care and have a great life.